Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and welcome to the Brian Tracy Show. Today we have a remarkable gentleman, Wallace Wally Nichols, who is an attorney, a financial advisor, and estate planner who helps people deal with the entire process of their life, their law, their income, their estate, their investments today, and taking care of themselves, their family, and their children in the future. He's a remarkable man with a great wealth of ideas and experience. And so thank you very much for being here, Wally.
Thank you, Brian, for that wonderful introduction. I appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about some of the great things that you're doing.
Well, Brian, I've always been multidisciplinary ever since my early days of my career. And it really all boils down to the three T's. What I do is technology, time, and trust. Yeah. And that generates the need that we all encounter at some point. The technology that we have today has been just a boon for our existence in every way. We live much longer than previous generations. Yeah. Therein lies the good news and the bad news. Good news is you're going to live a long time because of the technology. The bad news is you're going to live a long time. So that's where we get into the time. And then that allows us to plan and look at the timing of the streams of cash flow is very important in order to make sure you don't outlive your money. Right. And then the trust part is I both build trust as an attorney, and then we maintain your trust by developing the advisory services and the timing of those cash flows so that you can enjoy those golden years and go on and make sure things happen the way you want it to. Yeah. The interesting paradox of all of that in my mind is that in order to keep it, you have to give it away.
Right, that's very interesting and wonderful. Tell me, what is your mission in this business with regard to the people that you want to help or change their lives? You could have done many things. Why did you choose to do this?
So in my experience, what happened is, and it's actually a lot of the things that I ended up practicing law with as I came along. I grew up as a child in the 60s. I saw the social change that was going on then. I decided to be a lawyer. As my family experience went on through life, I just chose to help certain people as I went along. And so what happened to me is that my father and my brother both ended up in long-term care facilities simultaneously. This is and this is a technology thing that we have in our generation.
Right.
So for the first time in American history, we have the possibility and the probability of having two generations in long-term care simultaneously. My brother was a veteran of the Vietnam War, so he had the VA aid and attendance issues to look at. My father worked as a very successful contractor in the oil field all along, and so then he had the reality of a massive hemorrhagic stroke. So my brother had Agent Orange and lung cancer. My father had a massive hemorrhagic stroke. $6,100 a month is like an average sort of. I did some research. I wrote a book about this because of my family experience. Pack a sweater, because you never know what you're going to find on the other side of the trip, right? So I did some research, and so it's in Pack a Sweater, and if you need an assisted living facility,
right,
that's around $3,500 to $4,000 a month. Skilled nursing facility initially was over $11,000 a month for my father. And then it went down to $6,100 and stayed there and still there today after all of these years.
Yes.
He's very fortunate to recover from the massive hemorrhagic stroke. He's paralyzed on one side, but he has his mental faculties about him. So that's the wonderful news.
Right.
$6,100 a month over a long period of time will drain the best of middle class America's legacy. Legacy was vitally important to my father. He wanted to make sure that he passed it on, not to the skilled nursing facilities or the physicians, although we thank them for what they do, but they're compensated enough. He wanted to pass it on to his grandchildren. Plus, we have to make sure that the non-institutionalized spouse is provided for. So Congress, fortunately, did this for us back in 1965. We live in a wonderful country.
Right.
It's the best country in the world in these regards. We just have to use the laws to our best benefit. So Congress provided for making sure the non-institutionalized spouse is not impoverished, yet taking care of the institutionalized spouse and allowing them also not to have worked so hard all those years and still enabling them to pass on legacy to their grandchildren, to who they wanted to have the money in the way that they wanted it. So it's very. I feel very honored to have been able to learn how to do that for people and how to help people, and so I'm very passionate about it. My passion really lies into helping them optimize and maximize those income streams, so that if they don't fall into a tragic situation like that, so that's the ultimate downside. We plan for the downside, and everything that's on top of that's icing on the cake, right? So if they don't fall on that, we create income streams for them,
Right.
so that they enjoy the best quality of life as they can throughout the end stages of life.
Well, that's wonderful. You and I were talking off camera before about how this is becoming an enormous industry. There's 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every day, and they have two goals in life. One is to live forever, and the other is to not outlive their money. They want to make sure they have enough money. So if a person were to say, all right, there are other people who offer this advice, what would be your area of excellence or uniqueness that would cause people to want to use your services rather than those of another professional?
Well, I have litigated for almost 25 years now. And so when I look at a document, see, a lot of people want to go on various parts of the internet and just get a document out there. They think a trust is a document. Yeah. A trust is much more than that, because I've had cases that we've had to take to court, and people fighting about what a misplaced semicolon or a conjunctive, the word just as simple as the word and. Yes. Remember in a couple of presidents ago where the big news was what the meaning of the word is, and how many millions of dollars were spent, litigating all over that issue. It's the same way in these types of documents. So it's more than just a form. It's actually an embodiment. So I have an eye to watch out for those kinds of issues that could crop up, and the ability to massage that early on and make sure that the document reads properly to avoid those types of ambiguities, to avoid that type of expenditure. One case that comes to mind immediately was $50,000 over a semicolon and a conjunction, the word and. $50,000 for both sides of the litigation. Wow. So I try to bring that eye to the process and help people avoid those mistakes, and like I said, avoid creditors and predators attacking what they've built along the way. Yes. And making sure that their privacy is not compromised, and they're passing it on in the way that they want it to. Sometimes, again, the most paradoxical thing about the whole process is, in order to keep it, you have to give it away. Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, tell me, how can people get in touch with you if they want to use your services and get more information on what you do? I appreciate that. My website is WRNicholsLaw.com. Right. We're protecting your rights, maintaining your trust. You can also find me on the advisory side at AssetGuidanceGroup.com. Right. That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Wally. Thanks for your time. It's been a great pleasure. This is a great subject. Thank you.